Castro. Here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. The government plans to borrow 175 billion pesos from the domestic market in May. According to the Treasury Bureau, that is 9% higher than the programmed 160 billion for April. Next month, the Bureau plans to borrow 75 billion in Treasury bills and 100 billion pesos in Treasury bonds. It'll offer 5 billion pesos worth of 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day T-bills on May 2, 8, 15, 22, and 29. For long-term tenors, the BTR looks to raise 25 billion from 6-year T-bonds and 25 billion from 9-year T-bonds. It also seeks to generate 25 billion pesos from 13-year instruments and 25 billion pesos in 7-year bonds. One trader told Business World that it is too early to tell how rates could move next month. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas warns against cutting benchmark rates faster than the U.S. BSP Governor Felipe Medalla said it is, quote, dangerous to do so as this might cause the peso to further depreciate. He explained that if the country's rate is lower than the U.S. Fed, investors might flock to the dollar, putting more pressure on the peso. Medalla added that there is no need to mirror the U.S. Fed because Philippine inflation is seen to slow within the target by year-end. The Monetary Board is scheduled to meet on May 18, while the U.S. Fed is set to discuss policy on May 2 to 3. As Filipinos try to cope with the sweltering heat, thousands of households in Maynilad service areas are now dealing with up to 21 hours of water interruptions. Affected areas include Las Piñas, Muntinlupa, Parañaque, Pasay City, and 3 areas in Cavite City. Some 250,000 households are left to deal with 8 to 21 hours of water interruptions until May 16. Maynilad attributes the interruptions to turbulent water entering its Potatan water treatment plant, which caused lowered production. The water concessionaire also pointed to a leak in its filtration valve.
Ating current infrastructure, limited yung capacity niya para mag-convey ng tubig all the way from the north down to the south. Hindi po siya ganun kadali.
Meanwhile, Pag-asa says it is monitoring the water level at Angat Dam, which is currently within operational level at over 196 meters. However, Pag-asa warns that water supply in the metro may be affected once water level reaches the minimum operating level of 180 meters. The Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System now appeals to local government units to pass ordinances to suspend or limit water consumption in recreational facilities. Higher electricity rates are now seen as possible solution to the power crisis in Occidental Mindoro. Energy-related agencies said from the current 7 pesos, rates may go up threefold or to around 20 pesos per kilowatt hour. The hike is expected to provide the needed funding to run other power plants for enough electricity across the province. Governor Eduardo Gadiano noted, though, that the local power supplier is still obligated to address the issue.
Yung kontrata nila dapat may patupad. Bakit hindi na ipapatupad? Kayang i-hostage nung supplier yung national government na hindi sila mag-supply. Bakit ganon? Ang burden, ang hirap na sa mamamayan ng Occidental Mindoro. Kami ang nahihirapan. Samantalang negosyo nila yan. Di ba?
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Jeco Castro. A tender offer to shareholders in Metro Pacific Investment Corporation has been announced. It came from First Pacific together with GT Capital Holdings, a consortium and a management investment group. Based on the notice, bidders offered to acquire the tender offer shares at 4 pesos and 63 centavos per common share. This represents a premium of 22% over the one-year volume-weighted average price of MPIC's common shares on the Philippine Stock Exchange. The notice also stated that the tender offer values MPIC at 133 billion pesos in equity value. The company said its board considered the proposal to voluntarily delist MPIC and approved a resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the PSE. MPIC noted that the delisting is subject to the compliance with the rules of the PSE. Meralco assures its customers that it has enough power supply under its agreement with an Aboitiz power subsidiary. Under the supply deal, around 370 megawatts will be provided to Meralco until March 2024. Meralco says the deal aims to secure power supply at a cheaper price. This, as the independent electricity market operator of the Philippines said, prices in the wholesale electricity spot market increased by 16% this month. Prices in the WESM increased due to higher demand and increased usage of appliances amid the hot weather, particularly in Luzon and Visayas. PLDT vows to further improve its connectivity after being named as the fastest internet provider for 5 straight years at Ookla Speed Test Awards. This marks the first time that PLDT in the Philippines was recognized by Ookla for its internet and digital services. Ookla says internet service in the country has improved despite challenges posed by the country's geography as an archipelago. The telco giant says it will take the award as an inspiration to enhance its services and provide Filipinos with better connectivity. What does the future of artificial intelligence look like? Well, it might depend on a new law the European Union is considering that would regulate AI. Let's watch this.
Around this time, DALL-E 1 came out, and I was instantly, wow, this is so extremely powerful. Like, now we can draw images from text, and this will change everything. And I instantly understood that, like, if this is like centralized to 1, 2 or 3 companies, this will have really bad effects for society.
We've talked for months about the benefits and pitfalls of artificial intelligence, but what we talked a lot less about is that these AI products are built on decades of data from across the internet. One dataset, which has been used to train image generators Stable Diffusion and Google's Imagen, is called Lion 5B. Lion 5B was created by a team of hobbyists including a high school student in London and a high school teacher in Hamburg. Lion is built on open source data. It scrapes public images from across the web and anyone can see what's in it. Stability AI, the company behind Stable Diffusion, is now seeking a $4 billion valuation, thanks in a large part to the free data from Lion.
I think it's really important for this technology, the models we train, the data sets we produce, to stay openly accessible.
But after discovering that their work was used to train Stable Diffusion, artists are now suing Stability. Lion is cited in these suits, but not as a defendant. It's still an open question if these artists' work or any images that are publicly available online are fair game for these datasets. An answer may come soon with the European Union's AI Act, a government's first ever serious effort to regulate artificial intelligence.
If you want society to embrace technology and to trust technology, you need to have that social contract with society.
The generative AI boom has also generated calls to ensure that companies disclose what images train their machines. Models like OpenAI's DALL-E 2 and ChatGPT, for example, have not really shared any details about their databases. While such regulation could be a win for artists and creators, advocates for open source datasets believe overregulation will only benefit big tech in the long run.
If we try to slow things down and overregulate, there is a big danger that in the end, a few big corporate players can afford to fulfill all formal requirements, and in the end, this technology and all data that flows through it will be monopolized or at least highly centralized. And I see this as a real danger.
As AI datasets and the rules around them are being developed in tandem, the question remains, how closely should we regulate what goes into them?
And those are the top business stories of the hour. I'm Diego Castro. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News. All sides, all the time.